Hello, my name is Alyssa Ragazzino, and I am in Chemistry 120 lab with Dr. DBK, and today we are going to talk about Experiment 6, the Chemical Equilibrium Lab, in the video report. So there were 6 parts to this lab, but the first one that we are going to cover is E. So E was iron to iron thiocyanate equilibrium. First to mention that the net ionic equation was Fe solid in aqueous solution plus SCN aqueous is in equilibrium with FeSCN2 plus aqueous. So, first question was, what color is the Fe3 plus ion? So the Fe3 ion appears as a yellow solution first by itself. What color is the SCN ion? It also appears as clear or colorless. And the color changes that occur when KSCN and FeNO3 were mixed is it actually forms a bright red solution when the two were mixed. So that was your KSN plus FeNO3. The color change that occurred when heat was added was the red color actually became much lighter and began to look more orange than red. The reaction can be identified as exothermic because once the heat was given off, the reaction occurred, changed color, and then it gave off that heat as another form of energy, and in that definition, that would be exothermic. Then it says to explain the color changes that occurred when excess reactants were added. So when both excess reactants were added, the red color became darker with more FeNO3. So the red color kind of got deeper, but then as the KSCN added more, it became more like a brown color more than a red. It was like a brownish red, very much darker in that situation. And then finally, for this experiment, what precipitate formed when AgNO3 was added, and explain the equilibrium shift that occurred when AgNO3 was added. So when the AgNO3 was added to the solution, it became cloudy and bright white, and you were unable to see through the tube. The equilibrium would shift to the right because more reactants were added, so the products needed a shift to maintain its balance. So that was experiment E. Next, we're going on to 2 more experiments to conclude for the video report. Experiment F in the lab. This experiment was bicarbonate carbon dioxide equilibrium with a net equation of HCO3 minus aqueous in equilibrium with CO2 gas plus OH minus. The gas here was main stressor in the equation, how we use the aspirator to get rid of the gas. So the first question is, what product was removed by aspiration? So in the reaction, the stress placed was using an aspirator to remove the gas, and this product removed was CO2, which was the only gas in the equation to be removed. And then it also asks, indicate this color change, as the gas is being aspirated. So I noted watching the video that the color change of the solution started as a nice, pretty blue color, and the HCO was added, and it formed many bubbles and a green color. So it went from blue to green with more bubbling. You could see, there was gas forming right away as the HCO was added. But then we used the aspirator, and once the aspirator occurred, the solution, which was removing the CO2, the solution, returned to that nice blue color. Now onto experiment C. Experiment C was the bismuth trichloride equilibrium. So we had an equation of BiCl, it is a solid, plus H2O, which is obviously liquid, in equilibrium with BiOCl solid plus 2Cl minus aqueous plus 2H plus ions aqueous. So there were three questions for this part. And the first question was, explain what happened when the solid BiCl3 was added to water. So when the BiCl3 was added to the water, the solution became very white and very cloudy, and you were unable to see into the tube. You were not able to see through. And then it says, explain what happened when the acid was added. So the acid was added to the reaction. The solution looks like a more clear, kind of looked pretty much like water. It was very clear. It had a little bit of color, but not too much. But what's important to note here is that it developed crystals at the bottom of the tube, very small white crystals that formed all at the bottom of the tube that you could easily see when the professor held up the tube to the camera. And then the last question, it says, repeat part B above for water. Be careful, this is tricky. So this is tricky because some people could have missed in the video the change between these two because it was kind of hard to tell. You had to go back and watch the video again. So the repeated step, when it was added to the water, the solution becomes cloudy, like in the first part of this experiment, but then it kind of makes a combination of A and B. So it comes cloudy, but then those crystals are still formed at the bottom. They're still there. So it was like A and B kind of got mashed together to make C, and I could see why this question would be tricky. Overall, that was my lab report number 6, my video report. Thank you.